Hi everyone, welcome back to Brookdale Farm. It's a lovely afternoon here, and today we've just got to make a cocky gate to go in this gateway here between these two gate posts. A cocky gate, for those of you who might not know, is basically a wire gate. So it is made out of the same wire that the fence is, strung between the two posts with a mechanism to pull it up tight at the far end. Now, why do we use wire like this? It's a much cheaper way than using swinging gates. They're much harder to operate than a swinging gate, of course, but this gate is 10 meters wide, so we probably need 11.5 meters of wire to do this. Wire is about $2 a meter. So to build this gate, we're looking at around $25 or something like that. If we were to buy two 5-meter swinging gates for here, we're probably looking at over $400. The other reason that we tend to use cocky gates a lot is that we can make them a lot wider than a swinging gate. So I have seen some up to about 80 or 90 feet wide. So 30 or 40 meters, so that they can get the really big machinery through them. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is get the roll of wire off the back of the ute, and I will show you how to tie it onto this post here. So rolls of ring lock have a top and bottom to them. You'll notice the gap here is not quite one hand span. Down the bottom here we've got the bottom wire, we've got this wire and this wire, so the gap between the wires is much smaller. This is to stop the lambs getting out through. If we put this size hole down the bottom, the lambs will actually squeeze through here. So the bottom always has the wires closest together. Now there's a number of different ways that they fasten the cross wire onto the main wires here. The top and bottom usually always have a twist like that, but the middle, there's probably 100 different ways they've done that over time. So coming to the end here, the first thing we want to do is take this first wire out to give us a little bit more to wrap around our post and tie our knots. Now if we don't have another fence on the other side of our post, we don't need to take this first wire out, but because this one will get in the way, get caught in this other fence, we need to take this out. So to undo these top and bottom ones, the way I find is easiest is just to loosen the spiral off a little bit with the pliers, and then usually they will just slide along. Haven't got that one quite loose enough yet. And you can just pull it out of your wire. These other ones here with the little cross in them, if we just cut the little cross here, they come apart. If you're going to be doing a lot of fencing, I strongly recommend that you invest in a good pair of wire cutters and a good pair of pliers. Now these are a Bearco brand, and these ones I've found to be really good. These are both fairly expensive pairs of pliers. They're about $60 or $80 each. I don't like the big heavy fencing pliers you can get. These are just a standard pair of pliers, and I find these much better than the big fencing pliers, but everybody has their own preference. So with these, if we just cut this cross off here, the wires just come out. So I'm just going to finish cutting these off, and I'll show you how to tie the wires onto the post. Okay, so to tie this wire off, I've wrapped it, this is the piece going back to our roll. I've wrapped it around the fence post already. Now the way I find is easiest to do it, bring this one across and pull this one down, but put a bit of a bend in it while you're doing it. Now the next bit is quite important. We want to poke this tail up on the inside of this one here. And then, so we've got our wire coming round and up behind. Then we come down in front and wrap it round like that. Now this means that as the tension comes onto this wire, it's actually pulling your knot tight. Lots of people just wrap it round without doing this knot in the beginning. That works a lot of the time, but if something happens, you've got a cow that runs at your fence or something like that, this just holds everything a bit tighter. Now we want to wrap this round 4 or 5 times here. Then we want to put a bit of a crank handle in it like this. Now we're not going to cut this off, we're going to break it off. So we put this crank handle in, we rotate it away from the knot here, and we break it nice and clean like that. This means that we don't have any sharp edges or sharp bits of wire that the sheep can catch their eyes on and injure themselves. Same with the dogs and the cattle. It's just a really nice, neat way to finish your fences off. If you can learn to tie a knot like that, everybody will think that you're pretty good at fencing. Okay, I'll just try and show you this knot again from a different angle. Make sure I've got the right piece of wire I'm about to tie off. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is come round and down and back up on the inside of this first piece of wire. Then we want to come down in over the top of this and back and underneath here. And then round a couple of times. Make our crank handle and turn it away from the knot. Sometimes you've got to go backwards and forwards a little bit. And there we have it. So here's what our knot looks like from the top. We've come along, round this one, over the top here, back underneath, round 3 times, and then broken it off. So this is a really good strong knot to use when we're tying fences. I'm going to go through and just tie the rest of these off now, and I'll show you how we make the tensioning mechanism at the other end. Okay, so we're up the other end of the gateway now, and we need to make up something for the bottom of the post, the gate pole to sit in. You can just use wire, a piece of wire for this. I like to use something a bit more rigid. On this one, you can see I've used a bit of hoop iron, but for a gate that is used a lot, it's not quite strong enough, and it tends to break fairly quickly. So I've made up this bar to go around here, and I'm just going to tack screw it onto the post quickly, and that will be where the bottom of the gate post sits. So I'll put the camera down now, and I'll tack screw the other side on, and we'll start looking at tying the wire onto the gate post at this end. Okay, so this is the what I use at the other end for the gate post where we open and close the gate. It's just a piece of 3/4 inch water pipe. Always try and use something round for this. It doesn't really matter what size it is. People sometimes use things like star pickets. These tend to catch, and it's a pretty good way to break your teeth when they spring open. So I like round pipe. It just doesn't catch as much. Now I drill a hole, little tiny hole at the top, where the top wire goes through and where the bottom wire goes through. This just helps hold the wire at the correct distance apart. So we're going to thread the bottom wire through the hole now, and work out where it needs to go in relation to the clip at the bottom there. So I'll see if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. Okay, so we want our pipe with our wire through it set up so that when it's in here it's tight. Now we also want it set up so that we can't just drop it in there. It needs to be a little bit tighter than that. I'm going to bring it back to about there, and I'm just going to put a kink in it to test it. Now what we want to be able to do is lean the post over and pull it in. That's still slightly loose, so I'm just going to adjust this a little tiny bit. Don't need to adjust it too much. That's pretty good now. The wire's nice and tight. Now wherever we've got these holes at the bottom, this is where the wire tends to break, so we do sometimes need to just come and fix these up. Anyway, I'm just going to tie this off now. Now these ones we can just tie by going round and round and round. There's not that much pressure on them until a cow runs into them or something. Because this diameter is so small, it is quite hard to tie that knot that I showed you at the beginning. Okay, so that's our bottom one at the right length. Now we just need to work out where our top wire goes. Okay, so for our top wire I'm going to do much the same thing. I'm going to put it through to roughly where I think it's going to go. Then I'm going to grab the gate closer, which is here, and put it on. That feels pretty good there, so we can tie it off in that position there. So there's been a cocky gate here for years and we're just repairing it, so the handle, the closer mechanism is already in place. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. Okay, now we just need to tie off all the other wires in the same way, so I'll do that quickly and then I'll show you how the closing mechanism works. Okay, so this is the handle for closing our gate. It's just got a piece of pipe welded on one end. This is another piece of 3/4 inch water pipe. There's a bit of chain on here, and there's a little clip on the back here which is half a chain link to hold it closed. You can make far simpler ones of these. I like these ones because this piece of pipe stops it, stops the gate springing open when you open the handle and hitting you in the face like some of the other ones do. So to close it, what we do is lean the post over, put it in the bottom, drop that on the top and use that to pull the gate up tight. And we've got a pretty secure gate there that the sheep can't get through. To open it, we just do exactly the opposite. Alright, well I hope you found this video useful. Hope you've learned something from it, and I hope to see you again next time. Thanks, bye.